I would never go back in time and change anything.
Really?
Because really everything that we are today is because of what's happened in the past. So I always say, no, I'm really happy with things. And who would have thought that this is my 64th year, next year will be my 65th. Who'd have thought I could still be in the top 5 in records? And it's still happening for me. So I thought, well, I'll just keep going as long as people want to hear me, see me.
And talk about want to hear you and see you. You're going on a tour to celebrate that 65th year. Is tour life still a life that appeals to you?
Yes, it does, but probably less than it did before. Because I remember doing shows where we played to 600,000 people over a 4-month period in Britain. But 4 months, and the terrible thing was waking up in the morning and going, oh no, the terrifying thing is that you will not be able to sing that night. So I do shorter tours.
And talk to us about this year, because there's another Christmas album. What made you think that this is the right time for another Cliff at Christmas?
I didn't think about it. Warner Music asked if I would do a Christmas album for them. So, and I thought, and then they said, you haven't done one for 19 years. And so I thought, well, yeah, it's probably time to do something else. So I said, well, what am I going to do? And they sent me a list of Christmas songs. But I did say to them, if I can get a couple of new songs, are you happy with that?
Holy, holy, holy night, hear the angels singing now.
And you potentially could have another Christmas #1. You're up against the likes of Stormzy. Do you know Stormzy? Do you listen to his music?
No, I haven't. I'm looking forward to meeting him sometime. Everybody's told me, and I saw one clip of an interview, and he seemed a really nice guy. And apparently he does a lot of work for charity and things, so there's something else to him behind his rap. I don't think he'll mind me saying this, and I'm sure he doesn't like songs sung by me, but I can't get with rap. Promoting an album or anything like that, like TV shows or films or whatever, it can become a little bit ponderous. And as soon as I saw the newspaper that says Cliff and Stormzy battle it out, I thought it became fun.
Yeah.
And the last time that I had that headline was in the Melody Maker. You won't even remember it. In one of the newspapers, the New Musical Express, Melody Maker, and the headline on the Melody Maker was Elvis and Cliff battled it out in the charts.
When you think about all that time you've spent at the top of the industry, that's also an awful lot of time under the microscope and looking at sort of press scrutiny. How have you dealt with that over the years? Has that got easier to deal with, do you think?
I think it's easier because we don't have as much respect for them now that we had in the early days. And sometimes when I read articles that I'm supposed to have said something and they've added maybe 3 or 4 lines to something, and you think, why do they do that? I'd rather talk to you on television than do a press report, because we've lost trust in some of the great things, like even the police and all that. We've lost trust in some of these great areas in our life, and there's no doubt about it. The written word is very, very important.
Yeah.
But only if they're truthful.
And how have you managed over the years to keep that sort of sense of perspective and balance in your life when you don't allow things to take you too high and things to drag you too low? Is that to do with your faith? Is that something else? Is that?
I don't think I could have survived some parts of my life without my faith. And I came from a family that we weren't ultra-religious, but I remember walking in once to my parents' room. My father was there on his knees and he was praying. I met Christians who spoke about God in a slightly different way. They talked about what Jesus meant to them. And so it led me to ask the right questions. And so it's early 60s, my pathway changed and I began. And the funny thing is, I don't think I was ever a bad person. It just made me feel, okay, I got to do better. I don't think I've been a baddie. And it led me to think about other people. Up until that point, it was just, what records I'm going to make? Why am I not #1? You were going for that. And this made me stop and think, look how lucky you are.
I was thinking about this earlier, because maybe what you've just talked about and your ability then, because of what you believe, to forgive others, do you think that's one of the reasons why you're still here, still going strong and still making music? Because you're not, the hate hasn't eaten you up, if you know what I mean.
No, I mean, I guess, as I say, everything that you do helps. If you get to a point where I am, everything I did must be okay. And becoming a Christian, although it was a strange time, and the press, again, you know, oh, he's got God and all that sort of thing went on, but it didn't bother me as much once I'd taken the words and said, you know, please, I need you in my life. And when you think about what happened to me with the South Yorkshire Police and the BBC, with the helicopter outside my apartment, all based on a false accusation. Now, that period, and the funny thing is, about 3 or 4 days after we'd heard the terrible news, I was in bed, asleep, and I'd wake up and I'm thinking, oh, you know, I can't go on like this because my hate was growing. This person that I don't think I've ever met, I may have met him though, because grandmothers would come with their children and their grandchildren, and you know what they need to make them happy? An arm around them, take a picture with Uncle Cliff, and go. And they ruined all of that for me, really. I still have a dodgy feeling about being with young boys or girls, but I'll get over that. But I'm over the main thing. But that night, I said, I can't go on and hate this guy. I don't even know who he is. So I said to God, please, I want to say to you that I forgive him. There's probably a reason for why he's done this. And it didn't sort of get rid of the whole thing.
But it changed from that point.
It helped me to try to understand why he did it. I was thinking that this guy would have a child and was sick. I mean, I've seen all the movies, and maybe he wanted to raise some money, you know, to make sure that they get him or her to the hospital in America or something like that. So I made little excuses up for him, which helped me really. When you forgive, it's actually better for you. The other person may not, I'm sure this guy, unless he's watching this, won't even know I forgave him. So in a way, when I'm talking to you now, I'm thinking to myself, I couldn't speak like this had I not got through it.
Yeah.
And I got through it because I had spiritual help. I'm past it now. I've got my life back.
And you look really happy. You look really comfortable and really happy. Not only just talking about that, but making music again and doing what you love.
Yeah, it is. It's all back to pretty well being normal. Whether I don't think I'll ever forget it. You can't forget something like that, you know.
Well, I really appreciate you talking to us about that, because I know that can't be easy. Can I ask you about something completely different?
Yeah.
Your Christmas gravy. Because I'm as a gravy man myself, that's my job at Christmas. I'm the gravy man in our house.
Do you start with the onions?
Yeah, always with the onions.
I use 2 big onions and chop them up.
Are you frying those onions off, or I chop them in with the meat?
I put them in olive oil and
Okay.
start the frying up.
Right.
And it takes so long for onions to fry. So while that's happening, I boil this much in a pot. You know those measuring pots you get?
Yeah.
I take a pit that big, boil the water, and then pour it over oxo cubes, you know?
Yeah.
The chicken, the beef, the vegetable, what else? The lamb.
Oh, right, all of them, the whole
All
lot.
of them, and usually 2 of each. And then
You've gone big.
I pour into the water after I've melted it all down. The onions are still frying, you just have to turn them over a bit. Then I just add I put teriyaki sauce, soya sauce, and Worcester sauce in.
Okay, have you come up with this menu, or you just sort of developed it over the years?
I didn't read it anyway. I just made up things that I like to taste.
Just chucked it in.
Well, because teriyaki sauce it tastes good on chicken, let alone fish.
The other important question, thickness. What sort of thickness of the Cliff gravy we're looking at?
Well, tennis has been really good for me.
Right.
I mean, it gets me out into the fresh air. And the funny thing is, even when I was...
Oh, no, thickness, not fitness.
Oh.
I'll do that again.
No, fitness.
No, thickness. I'm talking about the thickness of your gravy.
Oh, thickness. Oh. Oh, no, I love it. That's got to be thick for me.
Yeah.
Custard thick.
Right, proper sort of falls out.
Yeah.
Hefty.
And,
okay.
and to me, I don't like the runny stuff, but I like it really thick, yeah.
So you're clearly quite proud of your gravy. Could this compete with like a Delia gravy or a Mary Berry gravy, the Cliff gravy? Why is it not available in shops?
I'm still waiting for some company to offer me a deal. In America, Paul Newman has his name on all sorts of mayonnaise and salad dressings, and he did it for charity. So I'm available.
That would be a double. Christmas #1 and #1 Christmas gravy.
Well, can you imagine Cliff Richard's gravy probably the greatest gravy in the world.
Okay, he's even got the advert sorted.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you
been a
so
real
much.
pleasure to talk to you. I hope you do have a fantastic Christmas.
I will, I'm sure I will.
And
I'm
enjoy
going
your
to be with
gravy.
a lot of good friends, yeah.